Boom, indeed. Man, we could just do an hour playing that song. I could just dance to that song. I didn't realize that was a song I need in my life, but I
Yeah,
need that
dude.
song in my life.
It really kicked me into gear.
It's a fucking great song. It is. It's a great song. And that's not owned by anybody. That's just out there for the world to use.
I mean, it's owned by us now.
Yeah. You wrote it?
Nope.
Bob Tovin? Bob Tovin is dope. You should be Bob Tovin.
Oh boy, if we were still doing Bobby's Universe,
Yeah, that's
that'd
all
be
right.
a sketch. It'll come back eventually.
So it's a way to have a lot less mean things written to you underneath the video.
Yeah, it just felt like me and you were pushing it harder than anybody else.
Hey, that seems like everything we do.
Yeah.
So for anyone that missed it, sorry last week we had technical difficulties, so but that's all right. This one will also have them.
Yeah, it's not going to get better, folks. It's only going to go
Mike, though,
downhill.
we tell ourselves we're working on stuff. You'll
If
be all
you
right.
if
You'll
you
be fine.
guys could really get all your friends to subscribe, I'd like to get to the me just playing video games and ignoring Pat phase of this podcast.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We get to 1,000 on my YouTube, then we don't have to have you go to Bobby's to watch it live. You can come to mine to watch it live. We can do it there.
Yeah, we just got to get them to that number.
I think I'm at 940. It's not that far away. We just stopped pushing it. Like we're close enough. And listen, Saturday Night Live's been going forever. It had some good years, it had some bad ones, but people are like, you know what? It's still going, so it must be good. We're just having the years where they don't have that primetime players. It's like where Billy Crystal's the good one. You know,
I was literally about to say we are the fucking Billy Crystal years of
we're
SNL.
the Michael Anthony Hall one.
There's moments of brilliance where like Robert Downey Jr. shows up, but it's like not yet.
Well, he's there, but he's also on more cocaine than anyone in the world. And like
That's
you can go back and watch it and go, oh, that's where Julia Louis Dreyfus started, but she wasn't dancing good yet or anything. You know, there's a lot of people that ended up doing better later.
yeah. And
That's what this show is. We'll end
hopefully
up good later.
people will go back and be like, God, they were bad.
Yeah. They're not good now, but they're better.
Really? Pat picked Bobby over Frank?
God did. Oh man. So how are you, sir?
I'm all right, buddy. How are you?
I'm great.
Really?
I'm great because this week I did a dumb thing that you and I would both look at and go, that's silly to say out loud, but it actually weirdly worked. And not in the same way we just talked. Did great things happen? No. But did mediocre things happen that just get me by? Yep. And that's all that matters. It's like when you win a scratch off for $50. Everyone's like, you can say I won the lotto. Be like, you didn't win the lotto. You won
Yeah.
$50. It's like, depends how much money you need.
And I say, fuck Lotto. That's the motto. I could get the 7 digits from your mother for $1 tomorrow.
Whoa, that's bars.
That was the Eminem acapella verse.
Right, I knew it wasn't yours.
Whoa. What the fuck's that supposed to mean? I'm a pretty good
You
freestyle.
you didn't rhyme anything with Harry Chapin.
Harry Chapin. Now I'm vaping. Rolling down the street. I ran out of rhymes.
Oh, I thought you were going to go to the very simple. Hold her down because I'm.
That's where my mind went, and
Yeah.
thankfully I have a cortex, unlike some other people in my life, and caught it and went, nah, I probably just shouldn't say that out loud.
I got a cortex. Your mom's a hortex. See?
Now you spitting bars.
Yes, you do. To white people, what's spitting bar? White people, it's called poetic license. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a term for both. We saw me and who was I in the car with? I think it was Dave Hens. I saw it was a car and it said the license plate was per diem on this big truck. And of course, Dave Kennedy was like, fancy. I go, is it? Or is it just going, they give me $30 a day? Because it's like, I've gotten per diems. They're not all good ones. Like, it's like, you get a per diem when you go to jury.
Yeah. And it's not good.
It's enough for a ham and cheese sandwich and a fucking fry.
There's really some points in your life when you get jury duty and you're like, fuck, I'm making more here than I would at my 9 to 5.
Yeah. And the people I work with aren't as gross. And like, I like my boss better because he's wearing a cloak.
Yeah. We're literally not allowed to talk about work. They make rules.
At this job, if I pretend to be racist to get fired, they just kind of laugh.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, good try.
You're staying. But so last night I was at hosting an open mic, and I was literally just sitting there. It starts at like 8, around 7:15. We had to wait because where I set up the speaker and everything in the same spot in this restaurant, there was only 2 people eating in the restaurant, but they're at the one table where I can set up. And normally I'll just push something back or say, excuse me, and I'll just kind of put it there. It's not really in their way, but the man was in a wheelchair. So he's just there at this spot. So and other comics are standing around and they're like, they're comics, young comics. They're not paying attention to the world or themselves. So like, hey Pat, like, why aren't you setting it up yet? And I would kind of like head nod like an inch from me and look at like the man on wheels in the way. And they're all like, just kind of look and go, what, over there? Yeah, you put it over there. And I'm like, I go, maybe he'll tap his toes to the beat. Like, I'm saying whatever I can. And they're finally like looking, oh, okay. And then this one kid, he goes to the mics all the time. He uses a stage name. It's the worst. Barry Dingle. It's the worst stage name. I don't know his real name, but Barry Dingle. Everyone's like, whenever I see him, like, ah, Dingle. He has this thing where he always, when anyone sets up a speaker, he has to look at it. He has to ask if he can sound check it. And he stares at it to make sure it's set because he feels like the mics don't pick him up right. Now, he's known for going to mics, barely talking into the mic, pulling the mic away, standing in a corner in silence for 3 minutes as he reads his notes and wasting all his time. So at one point while he's staring, I've never seen him do it with my stuff, but a couple other comics like, he does this to everybody. And his one younger comic, as Barry's like, can I stare at it? I go, you don't need to touch anything. You're not doing a mic check. People are still eating over there. It's early. You're not talking to my mic. You're going away. I know what I'm doing. And he's like, well, I gotta make sure it's good for me. And I go, well, there's no setting that says good. So I felt bad because I said it a little louder. The comics kind of walked away. Like, they were laughing, but he was like, whatever. Yeah. It's a good line. Good setting. Come on. It's good. Yeah.
Great line.
So I'm sitting there with all that happening, and I'm like, summer's coming up now. It's getting warmer. I don't have a ton of gigs during the week. I could use a couple more bucks here and there. Nothing great. I have gigs the weekend, this and that, but it'd be nice if I had 1 or 2 little things here or there. And as I like kind of said it to myself and put it out there in the universe, I get a message right away from when I help teach the comedy class at the Stress Factory once in a while. They message me and go, hey, so-and-so can't make it. Can you come Wednesday? So-and-so money for you, whatever. I go, yes, I can. Thank you very much. Hell
yeah.
And as I answer that, this kid who I haven't seen in 10 years, who's like puts on like these urban shows, and I taught him comedy like 10 years ago, goes, yo, man, long time no talk. Any chance you can do a spot for me on Thursday and pay so-and-so money? I'm like, yeah. So I was telling other comics, it's not things I would normally I would like to be able to go no to both of them.
Yeah.
But they're both not good things. But it's extra money that I can have for the week. So putting it out in the universe gave me mediocre fun results. So yeah, I'm in a good mood.
I'm glad to hear it, man. How'd your gigs go? You had a big one in the sped up episode that people didn't get to hear about, but kind of what could have been a terrible situation where you were performing for a niche group.
Yeah, well, so people don't even know what the sped up thing means.
Oh yeah, we didn't.
Didn't watch last week. The problem with the issue is that it was on a higher speed. I could have put it out, and you guys, if you did audio, probably could have slowed down the audio, but we weren't going to do that. We basically talked about a couple weird gigs. Like I had a possum run at me on stage. Maybe I'll even just go on my own Patreon thing and just talk about the possum show, and then the next show where I performed for 2 people. One weekend, a possum attacked me, and I performed for 2 people. It was weird. Maybe I'll just talk about that for a couple minutes.
2
Bobby shared some
sinners.
Stories. Yeah, Bobby shared some stories too. But yeah, I don't want to get too much into gigs. I guess we'll talk about.
Oh, okay.
I just don't know if people really like gig stories.
No, that's fair. I thought right before we started, you said you wanted to talk about it, so I was trying to segue. That's on me.
Happened at, but not the gig.
My bad. I'm sorry. I was trying to set you up, and I was like, "Fuck!" I thought I read that right.
No. I appreciate that. It doesn't matter because no one's watching regardless. It's not that. I just think sometimes the people that don't like us, their perception is, look at these 2 nobodies pretending they have gigs, and how come they always talk about how well they did? They both suck. And you're right. So it's like, you're not wrong. I get it. When there's haters, we put together. It's not me thinking about that. I overthink what we try to do sometimes. But at the same time, you're right. It was a crazy gig. I took a gig performing for the UCAC, which is the United Contractors Association of Connecticut. So it's they're contractors, but they're not build your house, fix your deck, that guy. They are, it's like, you know what a chamber, I mean, you know, I'm saying out loud. You know what a chamber of commerce is?
Yeah.
Chamber of commerce, people don't know, is when a bunch of owners of businesses in a town all belong to this one group to better the town and the businesses, but each other in network in a way. They're owners of things, and it's a way to go, hey, Joe's Bar and Grill, if you have let me promote, you know, my floor mats here, I'll talk about your bar and grill here, and like we help each other out and stuff.
It's basically the business equivalent of a union, like a bunch of stores that agree to do things on each other's behalfs.
But these people are involved with unions too. All their workers are union workers, so it's even more so. They're the ones, they deal with the big time like machinery, but they're not building your house. They're laying the giant pipes and things for your gas company to get laying pipe. Hey,
but they're laying giant pipes
so your gas company can get the gas to you, like giant building hospitals with their huge operate. And these are the guys who are the bosses, the CEOs, the CFO of those groups, or like the managing in charge, the main guys. You know what I mean? It's not none of, if any of them wearing a construction hat, it's because they're walking over to fire a guy because he's been drinking. So
a lot of Raptor drivers.
Yes, and they were at the we were at the Mohegan Sun. It was in the Cabaret Theater, just a small little theater, but it's nice set up. They had like 100 people in their group. But seating is real nice, a big stage, whatever. What was cool is we got to work with like the guys who do the arena lighting, and so it was a nice setup and everything. Me and Dave get there. Dave Hens came with me, and they had a nice spread with food and everything. And you know, the lady was cool. But I hired me, but I just wanted to make sure we could say all the right things. I told Dave, just do whatever you want to do. He's not doing I had him doing like 10 to 12 up front, and I was just gonna do whatever. They wanted a 45-minute show. I said, "Is that tight to have to be that way?" They're like, "No, if you're having fun, you go a little longer. You're the end. We're the ending thing," which thank goodness is what they did. They did the dinner, the awards, all that stuff first, and then us.
Let people leave if they want to leave, which is a necessity.
None of them can leave.
Oh, never mind. Trap them in, lock them in the room.
You would be the biggest asshole if you. First of all, it's an event with money. I think most of the hotel room. This is just, you had your drinks first and stuff, but here's the entertainment part to end the thing. If you walked out, I think that it'd be bad for your business.
I see what you're saying. My bad.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't like a wedding or a thing where you could scoot. It was just easier for us to perform once they were loose with fun things like awards and drinking and the personalized stuff, and then tell jokes. And what it helped me with is I got to watch the awards and then kind of be involved in it. And with any chamber of commerce, there is a president, like any other group. And this one guy was the outgoing president. It was his last time being president. He was going to be stepping down to be a new one. He'd been doing it for years. He looked to be about 60 years old. He had one of those kind of like slicked back, the haircut that the uncle from like the Munsters had, the Vampire Man. But a lot of business guys like the Jack Nicholson, it's gray and
every
white,
Italian
whatever,
mobster,
black.
yeah.
It's slick. It's like it's got the V. He had that. He's wearing a full suit. He looked like he also could be a funeral director type move, like the Vincent Price goatee action. All that guy was the president, and his name was on the thing, and it was like he was David Duff. I'm like, that sounds like if you were gonna write a show about a guy who ran that, that's the name you'd give that man anyway. And then in the book, it says he was also getting an award. He was being awarded Ditch Digger of the Year.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Which is a real thing. And I was like, I thought, is that a joke? No, he's Ditch Digger of the Year.
Dave Duff, the Ditch Digger of the Year.
Dave went up and did his, act, and they warmed up, and then by the time he was done, they loved him. The beginning was a little tough because he's following dorks giving out awards. You're trying to talk to them. They're not sure. It's not like you're sitting next to your boss, because they don't really work with each other, but they all know of each other and they're all business. So they can laugh and you're drinking a little, but they're still going to be a little rigid at the beginning.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's not just them, because like they're bringing their wives or their husbands, who's there. And also some of them have their kid, but their kids are like 22, 20, 24. So younger people there do that part of the business. So they're laughing, but they're also it's an odd dynamic. Like a girl did say after one of Dave's jokes, I hate that my mom got that joke. You know what I mean? So it's like I like that, whatever. So Dave did his time, whatever. When I walked up, they announced me. Now I didn't notice. They thought it'd be a fun thing. There was a big screen behind us, like a PowerPoint presentation screen they were using. They, without me knowing, and I didn't notice my entire set, but at the end they pointed and said, "You didn't see it," and I had to acknowledge like I thought it was great. It says Pat Oates real big on a brick wall, and then there's 2 giant potatoes underneath it. You go to my Facebook, Instagram, I put the picture up.
Oh God!
I get it. It's funny. And the funny thing is, I never say that joke, but I was that night because no one ever heard of me. I thought it'd be funny, like a little branding thing. So I did say it. And then so when the lady said to me, "You didn't see that?" I go, "No." She goes, "Then you told that joke." I go, "Yeah, that's so random that I told that joke. I never do.
I never
And
do
I
that
happened
joke.
to. And they
Yeah.
all thought that because I watched all of them go, "Oh, like more so than normal." Like, why were they reacting that way? But anyway,
They got it.
yeah, but they were like, "Oh, he taught us the riddle." It's like, but it must have been like, what an arrogant fuck. He's like, "Hey, everybody, I'm a potato," and whatever. But so when I went up, I said, "Hey guys, first of all, I want to thank you all for having me here. This is great. It's I'll tell jokes in a second, but this is a little close to my heart. You know, my dad, when I was a kid, my dad would get with me all the time. You always get mad. I'm not going to amount to anything. He always told me, run to the room. You with your dreams of grandeur. You're never going to be anything. What are you going to be your whole life? What are you going to be? A ditch digger?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to be the greatest ditch digger of all times, like David Duff, 2023 ditch digger." The place started like exploding. And I go, and he tore down my David Duff poster. And I had it didn't matter. And I took my phone out. I took a picture. By that, really, I pretended to do it. And I just go, "I'm going to send this to my dad and go, fuck you, Dad. See, I met him. Who have you met? No one. You never met David Duff." They were, even the guy was dying. So afterwards, they were like, it was like the review thing was great, but it's like he personalized it. He made it to a point that none of us will ever forget this goddamn show. And I did my act, and I tied in. I probably yelled David Duff's name 7 or 8 times throughout the 50 minutes I did. I just kept tying him in. But it was fun. But one joke I do, and this was the story I was going to tell. That's fine. One joke I do just at casinos is about how there's 500-pound people on scooters there. And one time when I was there, I couldn't get to a gig when I was supposed to because there was traffic. Because
I remember that.
Hoof and hoof. I say a whole thing, whatever. I'm not gonna do the joke. So I told that joke there. They're all laughing at that. They really like the things that would be like insulting, whatever. They loosen up real fucking quick. So one girl was like 20 or 24, and she was sucking on a straw real loud. And I went, "First of all, you're very noisy." Like in the middle of my joke, I stopped. And then she laughed at that, and everybody laughed. And I went, "Second of all, I really want to be a straw." Dude, so everyone's like, "Oh," and her father's like, the daughter after goes, "That was crazy." And the father goes, "Yeah, that was real crazy, dude." But
Yeah, I'll kill you.
I was bigger than most of them, so fuck off. Anyway, so I tell that joke, whatever, with those scooters. We say our goodbyes. They're like very thankful, whatever. People coming up, "You were hilarious," whatever. One person comes up to this couple comes up to Dave, and the guy goes, "Dude, you were hilarious. It was the hardest I ever laughed. But Dave, you had the best joke of the night." And I was like, and Dave looks at me like, "Ah," and I go, "Yeah, that's good. Hey, you had fun." And the guy, Dave goes, "When you talked about the Holocaust," I go, "You can have him, Dave. You can have that guy." And I went to the bathroom for 1 minute. I go, "Wait, you talked about the?"
Yeah, God damn it.
Goes,
He waited
"Yeah,
till you
I
left.
saw on the side you weren't there."
I love Dave.
So as we're walking out of the place and now walking through the casino, we're no longer in the cabaret. We're no longer amongst the 100 people who saw everything that happened. We are amongst thousands upon thousands of people on a Saturday night in one of the busiest casinos in the world. And as we're walking, and there's people ahead of us and stuff, Dave and I are chatting. Farther ahead from me, I can see this man turning, yelling towards us, and pointing at someone. Now, you've been on shows with a lot of people, Bobby, right? So I don't know what they all look like. He knows what I look like. So I don't know this man in my head. especially standing up, because if you look at one
Yeah.
person one way, and then so you don't know their body shapes, and they're pointing, going, "Look, there's some now. Look at them. Look." And now three other people like this. Now I realize they were at this thing. They're older couples in their 60s, pointing at two men who were not fat, but either senile or handicapped on scooters. Dude, and they are, look, Pat, you were right. They're right there. How random is that? There's people are turning and screaming. Me and Dave are dying. And I'm like, and the lady goes, "Isn't that so random?" I go, "No, it's so not like." I go,
I
"That's
said
why
this
the
happens.
joke worked." Like, like this happens a lot. What doesn't happen is that people point and think it's my kink now, and
And
she's
make
like,
them
"Oh
feel
yeah,
bad.
none of them know what happened." And then they got kind of embarrassed. I'm like, it was fine. Like, it was funny, right? I go, "Yeah, this was the best thing of the whole night."
Highlight of my evening.
You pointing and shaming cripples? Yeah, good times.
This tard won't move.
But they were just old men just scooting by. Look at the Pat. Look.
Oh my god.
It was wild. And that was the story I was doing to share.
Hell yeah, dude. I did an outdoor gig at an RV park and used some of your advice because the last time I was there, I didn't swear and then told you Earl got on stage and was like, "Whose kids are these?" I swear. And they were like, "Yeah, they've heard curse words." He's like, "Good, you're bad fucking parents." So I went up
Right.
this time and was like, "No curse words, but gonna give them the old razzle dazzle, the same 15 we've been doing for a while now." And just swore. And then I got the review yesterday and it was like, "Hey, they said they loved all the new jokes you did." And it was like, "I didn't do any new jokes. I just added some fucks."
Yep. They don't know, man. It's that's what I love about comedy. People outside of it want to overthink. That's why I really like this contractors group I worked with, because the woman was like, all she said was, "You don't have to be G, but just please don't do anything overly sexual."
Yeah.
She goes, "But be R, be you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're the comedians. We want to have fun. I just know." She told me last year they hired a guy, and he taught his big joke was how he went to the hospital and he had to have several things removed from his anus, and he named all the things. She goes, "Don't do that." And I go,
So
"Yeah, I could not do that."
So you weren't allowed to bring Avery?
No. I was like, "Listen," and I even said to her, "We just know we're negotiating the money." I was like, "Just so you know, not only on stage will I not do that, but in my private life, nothing happens." Like, she laughed. She goes, "Thank you." I go, "Yeah, that's not what I'm going to swear. I'm going to tell a story." Dave Hintz and Dion are both really enjoying the fact that since the album recording, have decided to take my Stairway to Heaven, the Big Lots jokes, and make them much longer extended cut. I've just been adding more details. It's
Hell
just
yeah.
been for fun. So this one, Dave's like, "Dude, you did a 45-minute, 50-minute set. A half hour of it was those two stories." Like, and he's like, and Dion's always like, you're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna make yourself. He knows me because you're gonna make yourself. I know, but I'm just having fun. He goes, "Stop improving. Leave it alone because you're gonna get mad that you recorded." I go, "I already am." He's like, "You added all these," but it's just been fun to be loose and add things to it, whatever. But like, I could just say whatever I like. If I wanted to make it dirty or clean, I did other jokes too. I moved all around. I did things from like 10 years ago. I just had fun on stage and said whatever I felt like saying because the lady didn't put a restriction on me. But 10 years ago, I would have overthought it and said, "I know she said I can be R, but I shouldn't swear," or this, or I would have listened to her saying, "Don't do this, do that." And instead of going, "Oh, I'm funny. She doesn't know comedy. She's worried about ramifications." Ramifications only happen if I don't do my job. So if I do what I work on every day, we won't have an issue. And you write good jokes. So they're going to laugh at what you did because you present it well. If you just went up and said fucked up shit, like, it wouldn't work out.
You didn't see my set then. I'm just kidding.
No one did. It's outdoors.
Yeah, no. My first line was like, "I've never competed against God," and then just pointed to the lake. It was like, "Why are you here? Go sit and enjoy the fucking lake."
I did an outdoor show once where I did one joke and this one lady goes, "Oh, that was a lot." I go, Well, if you don't like it, go in. And then she goes, "Oh, I like that." Like, all right, it's like whatever. It's like, but yeah, that's always the fun thing though, is to have someone tell you. I mean, that's life though. I think life is once you start achieving, people on the outside who mean well now want to give you advice when they have all they have is just a thought and no experience. And you appreciate that they're trying to make it work out. But sometimes those people feel like they're now an authority because they spoke.
That does make sense. I kind of get what you're saying there.
Yeah, because
I've
how many people in
encountered
your
that a
life will
lot
be like,
recently.
you start doing comedy, and then I'm sure family members are like, hey, it's like, you should try this and this, Bobby. It's like, well, I've been doing this and this for 10 years. But what I say is, you know what? That's fun. I can't do that because that is this other man's joke from a movie that you watched in 1984. People know I can't just quote Homer Simpson. It's kind of not how this works. But you're right. That is funny.
You understand what I'm going for, but
Yes.
the methodology is a little different. Well, the main thing I hear in my family is from my mom, which is thank God I kept my last name.
Nice.
But no, it was a lot of fun. I also that idea is kind of like a thought I had recently, and I kind of want to get your opinion on this. I think being a man is realizing you could do every job better than everybody else if you just had the time.
Explain.
So like car, for example, right? My car needs a new AC blower motor. That's the thing that puts the air out.
Yeah, that's actually the most retarded words for a thing ever. And I knew exactly what it was. Blower motor sounds like something you make up, but I do know that's what it's really called.
It really is. And right now, if you turn mine on, occasionally it blows smoke because it's catching fire. So I need a new one. But it's like $400 to get it replaced. And I know if I just had the time to dedicate to doing it, I could in about an hour have it done. It's just like, God,
But you also have at least the knowledge of how to do that.
Yeah.
I don't. So like I could have all the time in the world. It wouldn't be as good as the guy who's even just decent at that. So I know what you're saying. Like if we have, I think it's really more the old saying, why ask someone to do something when you can do it yourself? Because it's that I know it'll get done if I do it mentality, rather than somebody saying, oh, it can only be done this way. Well, there's other options unless you're me and can't do that. If I said, man, do I have to really pay $1,000 to fly to Switzerland? I could just do that myself if I had time. I could not.
But if you had the time to learn how to fly.
Well, yeah, but then I'm gonna be dead. I mean, I have to be a young man.
That's my point.
I'm
yeah, that's part of what it is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's like if you had the time to learn all these things, you could be the best at it.
Yes, I guess in that retrospect we could do everything, but then would anyone learn anything?
My junior year, I broke my ankle, and you would have to go get it taped by some guy named Mr. LeDuc. And that was strike one because why is the team doctor named Mr. LeDuc?
I like it.
It should be Dr. LeDuc.
Nope.
I want the team doctor to be a doctor. Nope. I don't think that's a big ask. I don't think old Paul LeDuc. Anyway.
Listen, your taping nurse was never nurse or doctor, whoever. They were Mrs. Whoever.
Yeah. That's a good point. We didn't go to the nicest school in the world. That's true. But it got to a point where it was just like, oh, I'm going to just learn how to tape ankles because you suck at this and I know I can do it better than you. And now I'm a great athletic ankle taper. You need your ankle taped, you call it me.
I remember when I was just out of college and before I met my ex-wife, because I was shortly after that, I was kind of dating this one girl who was just finishing up becoming a teacher. But she had a couple semester left, but she was already working at a school in substitute teaching, even though she wasn't supposed to. She was so good in the school, teacher's aide, all this stuff. She would show up and they'd be like, hey, instead of us waiting for a sub to come in and paying the extra money, we're paying you. Can you fill it? And she would learn things, whatever, like that. One day, her and I were hanging out afterwards. She goes, today was crazy. Like, today I had to be the nurse. I go, what? She goes, yeah, the nurse they come in. So I was the nurse. I go, wait, are you medically trained? She's like, no. They're just like, say you're the nurse because it's an elementary school. So these little kids just come in and go, "Oh, nurse." And she's like, "Oh yeah, me. I'm the nurse." And it's like she goes, "It's not like we're not allowed to do anything anyway. We can't give them medicines, or we can take their temperature and tell them to lay on a cot. So that's what you do, and then you call their parents and say." Oh, their temperature's running a little hot. Like that's all. And if they throw up, call the janitor. But that's all it is. So it's like back then too. You're lucky you got a Mr. Leduc because they got a lady that just blew me the night before. And I was helping some kid with their ankle. So it's like that's not good.
There's a real injury. The nurse said, "Fuck, mommy." The nurse said, "Oh fuck."
The nurse called this mean man who just came up and did crowd work on my pants. It was fun. What else did I do this week? What was it? I was just running around. I had my son graduated last week, so we had Father's Day was also a graduation party at my ex's house. So it was, which was fine because I got to see the kids. It didn't matter. It's not like it doesn't take away from my Father's Day. A lot of his friends couldn't go because they were with their dads on Father's Day. But if you really think about it, graduation parties are just, hey, can the friends of the family come and just give my son checks? So that's what it, you know what I mean? So it's like I got to meet my son's girlfriend. My daughter and her boyfriend were there. I got to hang out with them, and that's all that mattered. I'm the fun guy that no one else wants to talk to because everyone else there is friends with the stepdad and her. So I'm just kind of like by cornhole, hanging out with 20-year-olds and making off-color jokes while eating tiny burgers. So and then being told I'm a great dad by my kids. So like it was a great day for me. I enjoyed it. I'm beat up because we're playing badminton, cornhole, and like trying to throw a football. And I still stay active, but there was some muscles I was doing. And the next day I'm like, oh, I can't. Like,
Dad is too old for this.
I had to do radio yesterday and then open mic last night hosting it. So today was, do I leave the house? I was like, and at one point I finally did. I need to get outside, just take a walk. But most of the day I just took naps so my body can recover. Because I've been going to the gym again too. But like all that was my body's like, you are 48, almost 49, asshole. Chill. Like,
I get that. I'm 31 and my body's telling me that.
your body's telling you no, but your no wait, it's your mind's telling you no, but your body's
But
telling you.
my body. Did I tell you about I think there's going to be a death a block over from where I work?
No.
All right. So this is actually good for POS.
You should be telling the police and not me.
No, they're probably aware of the situation. I hope they find it as entertaining as I do.
I'm sorry. I hope you call the 911 and they go, he goes, Mr. Leduc. It's like, what? You're the cop now too? It's like, I do everything. I'm Mr. Leduc.
They let you be a cop after what you were accused of doing with your stepson? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but tape is cheaper than handcuffs.
But so it does beg the question, right? Because you've got the homeless right outside of Penn Station.
Oh, I thought you meant I did. I was like, what? Where?
No. and they
I dated a couple. Anyway.
It's important to note that the homeless outside of Penn Station aren't like the homeless you see in the rest of the city. These fuckers are coordinated. They're shitting themselves, but they're also running business operations like some MBAs couldn't even handle.
We've got some here too. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. But that's where these guys hang out. They know the hot spot. So starting Monday last week, there are also professional beggars out now. And what I mean by that is the groups invest like, hey, would you like to give some money? Can I talk to you for a few seconds? And it started with just Monday walking by and seeing all the homeless kind of eyeing them up like, what are these motherfuckers up to? Flash forward to Thursday, where chirping's happening. So you got homeless guys going, hey, yo, you don't have to fill out any paperwork. You could just give me the money, dog. And it's going to get to the point where they're stalking these people in vests, like putting one homeless person until there's a coordinated drive-by. Like, we need to send a message. And the issue with these things is a lot of these charities have huge markups. Like, I worked for one where you basically got paid by how much you were able to beg for. And that's what these people are. There's an incredibly high markup. So, like, who's the piece of shit in this story, Pat? Is it the real homeless begging for money, or is it the professionals begging for money?
Well, I guess the question is, who had the territory first?
The homeless.
not the homeless as you mean, not the groups that were with surveys and stuff.
Right. The
The
actual
actual
homeless.
homeless people were
Sans
there
home.
first. But were they always at the same spot at the same time, or were they just in the area floating about around?
It's kind of like a fraternity. It's a fraternity house, whereas one, I'm sure the rugby house was the same way. As the seniors move out, you get the better bedrooms and you move up a hierarchy that way. So there are always homeless posted at this corner, but it's a tier system of
But there's a
once.
corner that's always established that no matter what, when you walk by that corner, someone's asking you. You're as a human, you're putting your head down like fuck. They're gonna ask me for money at this spot.
Oh, absolutely. It's coordinated. So they've got it so that one guy passing traffic this way is posted at this subway stop. The guy getting traffic going the other way is posted across the, like they've got it coordinated and blocked off.
The pieces of shit then are the city planners. Because what they should do is, you know how every year local fire departments collect money with a boot?
Yeah.
The city planners should, whenever that gets crazy, just tell the local fire department, set up right there. And now let's see who the greatest beggars of all time are. Firemen, where they were kind of like fat and dopey, making young kids who want to be firemen hold a boot and stop in cars. People that can chirp and be loud, or scary homeless. Now you have three options of who you give your money to.
Let's
And
take
if
it
you
a
do
step
that,
further.
they'll move out of the way.
Let's take it one step further. They've got the policemen who call to raise the money and extort you over the phone, where it's like, hey, Rob, got your number because I'm a cop. You want to give money to us? No, okay, we'll remember that, Rob. We'll put the call bank right on the corner, too.
Hey Rob, who are you supporting in the softball game this year? Like I wasn't
Yeah,
planning on watching it. It's not an event I care about. Well, you want to if you want to make sure you're safe inside. That's all I'm saying. You might want to root for us.
exactly.
Because if the firemen are out there doing that, the police will come and show up anyway. And then what will also come when there's policemen and firemen? White women. White women can't resist. So now you've got white women yelling, and then the white women get to decide who's right. Because they'll either go, this poor homeless man, he's trying to ask for money, and the other people won't give it to him, or like, that fireman's hot, give him money in a boot. Like she's taking selfies with all of them,
If
and
it's
then they all kill the white women.
if it's
So-
an Italian-based police or fire department, that'll be the loudest corner that there's ever been in New York City.
Oh, that reminds me. I have an idea for merch. So I came up with it when I was at the graduation. There was somebody at the graduation thing. I think it was the kid's stepdad. I'm not sure. Had a shirt on that said, "I survived the wooden spoon," which is a very Italian thing there. So, a kid who was like my son's friend, who was like 19, 18, he saw that, or being like 17, whatever. Either way, he said he saw that and he goes, "Oh, that's a crazy shirt to wear." I go, "It'd be crazier on the back. It was like Vietnam, where all the fallen that didn't survive the spoon are on the back." And he goes,
Oh
well,
shit!
he goes, "How would you do that?" I go, "Just made up Italian names like Louis Linguini and Joey Bag of Donuts and all these dates and stuff." He's like, "Oh my god, I'd wear that shirt." And two other kids were like, "I'd wear that." I go, "If I make this shirt, you will get a shot percentage for second. But if we made shirts with and they're different ones, so like survivor of the flip flop for the Puerto Rican community, survivor of the wooden shoe, the wooden spoon for the Italian, whatever they hit you with,
Survivor of the two-child law,
right,
and it's just Chinese women's names.
belts before hugs or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and then on the back, the names of the fallen, and we just write weirdly stereotyped names, dude. We would pump out merch.
All right, let's do it.
That's our merch, people. Get on here, help me out here. Whatever t-shirt thing it is. It's like if you're selling shirts that say someone's name and then Armenia, you can help us with these. These are great shirts. So, I almost bought merch from a podcast the other day because I liked the merch, but I was like, this is so racist, I can't wear this.
Oh no! What was it?
I watch MLC a lot, and they're doing one now with they're calling certain people Newports.
Ah, gotcha.
And it's just saying, "Look out, I got Newports." And in one they're making is just Newports, then a fat white woman.
Oh no!
That's the shirt, and it's like, I don't support it or whatever, but it's so silly. It's like, it'd be funny just to have.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd wear it anywhere.
be hard to wear. Yeah,
I don't know where you wear it. Except for the next time I'm at compound where I'm like, a certain guy goes, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Wearing your merch."
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck that guy. My brother asked me how that went, and he goes, "Did you meet anybody? Like, did you meet Gavin McGinnis?" I'm like, "Yeah." That's all I said. Yeah,
That's how it went.
we just passed by. That was it. But
We I went to Penn State and we did the canning thing, like in Times Square. And one year we got told we couldn't can where we were at, and the most
what
the
were you
money
doing it for?
they have a dance marathon for the Four Diamonds Fund that helps kids with cancer.
All right, no,
This
that's what I
year,
meant. Like, what was the reason why I would give you money? I wouldn't give for a dance marathon. Like,
yeah.
kids for cancer, March of Dimes. Boom. Okay, yeah, I get it.
But there, I'm proud to say there's a rule written about your boy because when we were kicked out, there's a row of pornos, like stripper clubs and porn shops on the way from my house in Harrisburg to Penn State, and we posted out right in
Yeah,
front of a strip club and just guilted the fuck out of people and
right.
made more money than we've ever made. And now there's a new rule about where you're allowed to can and where you're not. They canceled the whole program because a bunch of kids died driving drunk to it.
Yeah, they should have had a dare canning next to it,
Yeah.
so, or at least a mad one.
Well, those bitches were mad.
But yeah, no wait, did you get money from the women or from the men coming out?
The men coming in.
Men going in on their way in, you were getting them.
Yep, exactly. Because
So I
they
was saying,
felt
like, what
guilty.
time were you doing this? Because those hours are late.
Yeah, I mean, you can whenever you want, really.
No, but I meant like, if it's 2 in the morning, I'm like, fuck off.
Oh no. We were out of there by like 11.
Oh yeah, because if you waited till like 3 a.m. and the girls were done counting their singles, they would have
Ooh.
broke you off a bunch.
I don't know though. I think those bitches would be like, "Fuck you! I got a kid with cancer."
Yeah, but she's already not watching him, and she didn't count. She doesn't count the money. She hands it to the guy who counts the money for her.
Oh, good point. Nah, I'm an Aquarius dog. Fuck cancer.
Yeah, I can swim. I live in an Aquarius. Uh, but oh, and then I don't know. We don't watch the same TV things, but I've been watching the new season. I already finished it in a day of Black Mirror, and this is the best season yet. It is great because if people watched it before, it's kind of like Twilight Zone, but like more modern. But the last couple of years when they did it, it was scaring me because they were doing like a dystopian, like technology's getting crazy, huh? In 2 years, it's gonna kill all, and I wouldn't be able to sleep near a phone. This time they only did that with one thing, and the rest just became weird twists. But the cast was so good because you're like, is that Selma Hayek? Holy shit, is that Clay Blanchett? It's like that people that were doing it was great, but there was some fucked up shit. But they're doing that shit now. This is why I would bring it up. I love when a series or a show believes its own canon, its own universe. So like they had this fake Netflix thing in there they were calling Streamberry.
Yeah.
And while they were looking at the screen, like some of the shows you could choose were documentaries and shows based off other shows throughout the years that if you had the knowledge of it, you would have. It was like they stayed in their whole world. Where like from season one when that one politician guy had to bang a pig, there was a documentary on him. Like there was it was like everything was like that. So then you start watching every episode, and they all don't link together. Like one, this people were reading the newspaper, and in the newspaper was this evil politician who was gonna be in an episode 2 episodes later, but it was just for no reason. But if you go back and look at the Easter eggs after, they made sure they added a. So it's like you want to go back and watch it once you find out those things. So it was like cool to watch. I like that. You can get me to watch shows again. When people tell me they watch The Godfather 300 times, I'm like, does anything change? Isn't he just Italian the whole time? Isn't it just stupid the whole time? You know what's happening. Sixth Sense you watch twice. The first time where you're like, what the fuck? And then they get the end, they go, oh my God, he was dead all along. The second time you watch it to go, were they saying he was dead all along? Oh, he does. And then you never watch it again. This shit, even when you watch the Easter egg stuff on other videos, you're still going to take you like 5 watches to get it. Like, that's the move. We need Easter eggs. Like, if people are like, if at one point, like, my face was on one of the cats and no one even noticed it at first, and then they're like, what the fuck? It's a pat cat. And it's like, that'd be crazy. And you go back and watch it.
That is a good idea. I like it.
It's
I
a
think
lot of
that
work.
requires a lot more planning than we typically do.
Well, Bobby, if you can't do it, I guess I'll have to fucking do it myself. I think that's how someone just taught me that.
Yeah, you got to be a man. Learn how to do it.
I just got to learn how to make my face on cats.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
If I could do that, I would do those ads for deep fake porn I'm always seeing. Just bang me.
Doesn't work as well as you think. Anyway. I've been watching a new show.
You'll like this real quick. You'll like this. I'll let you finish on your thing. This is admitting a lot here, but do you ever in someone's car and you're listening to music and you're like, oh, have you heard this thing? So you use their Bluetooth on your phone and you link up to their car and you do that. And usually when you're leaving the car, you remember and you because they would tell you because they wouldn't be able to go on their phone afterwards, whatever.
Yeah.
Now nothing did happen out of this, but let's just say, hey, did you ever do that late night one night? Go home and half hour later, when you're kind of like looking at certain movies and then realize the Bluetooth's still on and get really terrified at what somebody might have heard.
Oh, Jesus, no.
Now, I don't know how the range works. I don't think it would.
I think you're okay, but
at the same time, the panic and fear I had of like, it was sweat pouring. I was like, oh my, you can't go, hey, did you?
I can't say I've had that experience. I was once using Snapchat to send some pics, and it went to a coworker by accident. And I just never. No, but like outlined. You know,
you outlined your penis like it died.
We were highlighting certain things. Yeah, the outline of against the boxer. You know, something like that.
Oh, I thought you meant like when they're laid down dead, and you just took the chalk outline.
No, that would have been great.
You drew that penis.
I mean, I am known for sending good dick pics. Like Lonzo Balls is one of my best ones, and it's
Lonzo Balls.
Yeah, you draw a jersey on him, and then it's number 2 for the Lakers. You know, that kind of thing.
Wait, you're drawing on your penis?
On Snapchat, you can draw.
Oh.
That way, if I ever get busted sending a dick pic, it's creative at least.
Okay,
it's showing my humor in the process.
I guess my question is, so you have a picture of your dick on your phone, and then you're putting a filter on. So at one point, you're just staring at your own dick and then drawing on it.
Yeah. Yeah, when you put it like that, it's a little weird.
Yeah, a little weird. That's a little crazy. You just draw on a face, and then you're like erasing it, going, oh, that's not fun. And then you're doing the other filters where it's like 85 of them. You're like, so many of my dicks.
You give it the puppy dog eyes.
Oh, no. No. Don't make him sad. You got to put upside down. Yeah, I'm upside down so the balls have the dog's eyes on them.
You want to pet the puppy?
What was that lady's name? Papa Jenny or
Papa Girl
Papa
Jenna.
Sancho, whatever.
Puppy Girl Jenna.
There you go.
But this one I hadn't. This was more just kind of throwing some like, any interest out there. So there wasn't any artistic effect. It was just literally you could see it in the boxers, and it was a coworker, and we just never talked again.
No, I would quit my job and move.
Thankfully, he moved.
Yeah, I'm saying not you, them. I would to rather avoid that. I once couldn't talk to a guy I worked with for a year until I quit because when he was in the bathroom and he was supposed to at the urinal, he farted and I could not look at him ever again.
Yeah, that's how that works.
It was like we were like one stall apart. Like it was urinal, emptiness, urinal, peeing. He turned and goes, "Hey," and then but he looked at me like, you're supposed to. And I get it. You're in a bathroom.
I'll be right back.
No, fuck you. Don't do that. Do not. That's even worse when you go into, like, I was in the bathroom this weekend doing radio, and I'm the only one in the studio during the day. And then there's the custodian who's there, and he knows me from, like, being there during the day and stuff. So I was coming out of the stall, and the custodian's like, "Hello, Pat. How are you? How's it going? Everything all right?" But, like, he's asking me that while I'm going, I just left the bathroom. I don't want to be asked if everything's all right after I'm done taking a shit. Like, I know he was asking me if everything was all right in life, but I don't need the custodian who I now know has to clean the toilet, and probably more so based on what my answer is when I'm walking out of the stall and the custodian goes, "Hey, Pat, how's it going? Everything all right?" I'm like, like, now I just have to avoid him. And he's a good guy, but he also was the guy that saw me. We got him to go on the radio one time because Chaz was like, some guy, they read some story. Some guy did a gross thing for money. And they're like, what's the gross thing you do? And AJ was like, I would never lick a toilet. How much money? I'm like, oh, I would do that for a certain amount of money. Like, especially if I know the cleaning schedule of the janitor. And so the janitor came by and we're like, come on in. I'm like, when do you clean that? Like, if you're gonna do it, and he named the right stall. He's like, because the traffic is at the first one and the last one. People think no one goes to the last one, but it's the handicap one. They'll use that. The first one, people think no one go. I watched them go. 2 and 3 are the cleanest. So that's the one if you're gonna lick it, you would do those. And always do it in the morning. I clean in the morning. The later in the day, the more cheeks. And they had a crazy breakdown. And then so I was like $1,000.
Damn good radio.
Yeah, I was like $1,000. And everyone would be like, that wasn't enough. And I'm like, well, that's rent. I'm just thinking about now. That would give me a month to live down that shame. It's not like people don't think I'm a toilet licker anyway. Whatever. I don't like put my whole head in. You just go lick, whatever. And then they were like, we don't have that kind of money. What about $100? So every day since, Jose the janitor now goes, but hey, look, the toilets are clean, like every day. And I go, Jose, toilets are clean, not today. And we laugh. And I joke with him. So I saw, like I said, I was saying when you walked out, I saw him on Sunday as I walked out of the stall. I'm the only other person in the building. And he's like, hey, how's it going, Ben? Everything all right? You don't want to ask if everything's all right when I walk out. I know he didn't mean for that. But now I'm thinking he's going to have to clean that right after. I'm the only one here. He's looking for shit to do. Literally, I just left him shit to do.
You gave him literal shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to wait a fart. I didn't want you to hear it. I know that makes things awkward.
That's why this works. I don't like that shit.
You know where the toilets are really clean? The Bijou Theater in Connecticut. So you should come check out the clean toilets and meet featuring for Earl David Reed at the Bijou Theater in Connecticut, July 15th.
If you want to hear one of the greatest stories about the Bijou Theater ever, go check out when Sam Morril was on Joe Rogan, and he tells the story about how there was a man that was so terrifying that Sam ran into the fucking green room and locked the door because people wanted to beat him up. It was the Bijou Theater.
Definitely come to the Bijou Theater, July 15th, for the love of Christ.
No, it's a fun theater. It's nicely spaced. It's a good area. Find good parking. Leave with friends. It's Bridgeport, man. It's one of the most dangerous cities in the world. But inside, you're safe.
Yeah, just get inside.
Yeah, whenever there's a French name place inside the hood, it's like weird. It's a weird vibe.
It's even worse than an MLK.
No, but at least that one, what's up. I don't know who Bijou Jr. was. Does he have a day? Do I get to work an extra day at radio because he's got a day? But what do I got? We'll put this out today, I guess, right? Yeah. So Thursday, I'm at the Line-In restaurant in Hampton, Connecticut. Showtime's 8:00, but it's got one of those. It's run by kind of. It could start later, is what I'm saying.
It's gonna start later.
Doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 8. Okay. But I saw that they are giving them a window to the wall.
Starts at 11.
That's on Thursday. On Saturday, I'm at Retro and Derby. Frank Mergallo will be closing out the show there, so that'll be fun. Sunday, I'm at Comics Mohegan Sun, hosting another round of the Last Comic Standing. Please come check that out. This week, I'm on Chaz and AJ from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Wednesday and Thursday. You can listen on 99.1 PLR, 95.9 The Fox, or stream on their app, the 99.1 PLR app on there. Support our Patreon. Get over there to POS Podcast. Sign up for that. If not, at least if you're watching and don't subscribe, click.
Please, we want to be able to stream.
Yeah, from that side. So we have to run around do 85 things. And if you haven't yet, if you're a member of Compound Media, go over and check out our latest POS. We could be doing another one soon. Just get over. If you guys go on there and say, like, hey, we like them, they're at the point now where they're just going to do what anyone says. Like, I think if 3 of you said, hey, we like that, they'd be like, oh, good, we could use 3 people. I'm not shitting on that. I'm just saying it's summertime. It gets slower. If a couple people say, well, I would subscribe if Pat and Bobby had a show on there all the time, then maybe we'd have a show and then we wouldn't have to worry about us recording it. We could just be the divas that we are and not worry about the recording part. Maybe we need real men like them to record it because we aren't men and we need men. Get us men.
Get us men. And if you can't beat them, or if you can't join him, beat him, and don't be a piece of shit. Unless a Pat had other things to plug.
Oh.
Safe.